The ultimate goal as a lash artist is to get amazing retention, to always consistently have your clients come in between 2 and 4 weeks, depending on your client, with lots and lots of lashes that are still remaining. So today I'm gonna fill you in on all of my top tips for how I get amazing retention. Although the retention topic really is a course in itself, I'm gonna do my best to jam it all together in this short video so that you can get the most information from it. And at the end of this tutorial, I'm gonna actually do a fill on my client so you can see one come to life. Before we get into the video and to be notified when we give out tips like today's video, go ahead and click the like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. It's super helpful for us so we can bring content right to your screen. To get optimal retention, you really want to have a deep understanding of styling. You want to be able to choose the right curls for the right client at the right times. You want to understand the science behind the products that you're using. You'll want to focus on natural lash lift and curl. There's so much to focus on when you're really trying to optimize retention, but it does come with practice and knowledge. So before I even go through all of the steps on how I get great retention, I will say that knowledge is power. If you feel like you did a lash course and you weren't taught about lash lift, lash curls, proper placement, how to angle your hands, choosing the right tweezers for the job. If you weren't taught those things, you're like me, I wasn't in my first training, but we don't leave anything out in our classic course, our volume mastery course, or our advanced texture, and all of them are online, and get this, all of them are so inexpensive. So if you feel like you've already done training, you're already certified, but you're just like, what is going on? Why can't I get this process? And why are my lashes not staying? It might just be that you were ill-informed at training, and that's super common. If you do want to take our courses as a refresher, they're all online. They can be found at lostartistrylash.com, and they're really inexpensive already. We've made that our mission to give really good quality training at an affordable cost, but because you're watching this video and you're already showing us support, we truly appreciate that, and we're gonna give you a 15% off coupon code. So in order to get 15% off of any of our online trainings, just go ahead and use courses15 at your checkout. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. My first tip is to never, and I mean this, never skip out on your pre-service steps. It's not worth it. Even if you don't have a crazy amount of time, and the pre-service steps definitely do take a few minutes, it's never worth skipping them, because what happens is there's oils left on the lashes, or there's debris buildup on there. Even if you can't see it, even if the lashes look super clean, you want to have that perfectly pH balanced surface so that the glue can really penetrate into that lash cuticle and hold on for longer. So what I do is I cleanse. As soon as my client lays down, I have a face cloth, I have my Sensi bath or my lash bath, and a nice fine bristled cleansing brush so I can really shimmy around the base of those natural lashes. I give a deep cleanse. Oh, on top of that, make sure that you're using a very light lash safe cleanser. Anything heavy can actually leave a residue on the lashes. So I suggest moving away from, say, a gel cleanser or anything heavy and moving to something light like a foam cleanser. Then you're gonna take your Nano Mister bottle or your bottle of choice with warm water and just give the deepest cleanse. You wanna rid the lashes of all of that product, and with it, the oils, debris, and buildup. After I've finished my cleanse, I always move to priming. A lot of people think that they don't have to prime every client and that it's drying for the lashes, but I promise you, primer is a must and really truly helps. Here's why. So as I was saying before, you want the glue to penetrate into the natural lash as much as you can. And yes, that is drying, but your natural lashes are not living. They're fine, and they're always constantly growing and shedding and being replaced by new lashes. So by drying out the natural lash a little bit, that is accurate, but it's not harmful to your lashes at all. They're gonna shed within a couple weeks, and then they're gonna grow new ones, and they're gonna be just fine. So when you prime the lashes, because the product is alcohol-based, it opens up the cuticle. Think about a set of blinds. If you have the blinds closed, water, we'll say, would just slide down, but if you opened the blinds, then the water can actually go through the blinds and really get in there. It's kind of like that for a hair shaft of any kind. That's how we color our hair as well. So if you can soften that cuticle just temporarily, your glue can penetrate into the cuticle of the natural lash. It will hold so much better. It's gonna really connect on there, and it's gonna shed with the natural lash instead of prematurely. So for me, I like to work with Bond-Aid primer. It is perfect when working with any Lost Artistry lash glues. I don't personally suggest working with a primer from one company and a glue from another company. It might work, and most often it does, but if you're noticing retention issues, it might be that the primer that you're using isn't compatible with the glue that you're using. So if you are finding like, I'm doing everything right, I know I am, it might be that the products don't work together. So of course we work with everything Lost Artistry Lash. You can find it at lostartistrylash.com, just like our courses. And we work with that Bond-Aid primer. It smells lovely. Clients like the smell of it. It's great. So I always start with that. And as I've said, all parts of lashing come together to create good retention. So it's not just about your pre-service or your post-service. It's also about the products that you choose to use while you're lashing. You want a fiber for your lash extensions that's soft and flexible. They want to mimic the natural lashes because we're humans. We're hard on our lashes. We're washing our face. We're sleeping on our sides. If you have a lash that's flexible enough to bend like the natural lash does, then it's gonna be way more resilient. It's not gonna snap. If you use products that are more plasticky, hard to touch, not bendable and flexible and breathable, then those are more likely to snap at the bonding base, feel uncomfortable for the client, and they're just simply not as wearable. And to add to that, a really plasticky feeling extension, that fiber isn't porous either. And you want your extension to be slightly porous so it can too absorb that glue and really hold onto the natural lash. And then on top of the product situation, you always want to make sure you're using the right dimensions, diameters, curls, etc. But one thing I will say is if you use an extension that's too fine, like much too fine for the natural lash, for example, say you're using a 0.07 diameter lash as an individual extension, that might not last well on the natural lash. And then if you're using something that's too heavy for the natural lash, that won't hold either. Next, we have the importance of choosing the right adhesive for you as an artist. A lot of artists think that they have to work with a faster cure time glue because if they're working with a faster cure time glue, then ultimately they will be faster in their services. In theory, that sounds obvious and great, but in practice, that's not actually accurate. You need to figure out how long it takes you to place an extension. So some artists like to work a little more methodically, and they're slower at moving the fan or the classic lash from the dipping point onto the natural lash. They like to work with direction. They're just slower at moving from point A to point B, but that doesn't mean that you're less advanced or not as good of an artist. It just means that you like to work at a certain pace, and we all are like that, especially if we have clients who have really stressful natural lashes. If someone has challenging natural lashes, then no matter who you are as an artist, you're gonna be slower. So you wanna figure out how long it takes you to work and then find the right glue for your speed. So for me, for example, I work pretty fast when I'm working on clients that I know really well, clients who aren't troublesome at all. So I like to work with a 1 second cure time, which is our Quickie adhesive, or our Bondage Pro, which is 0.5 for those clients who I'm just whipping through. But I need to have a 2 to 3 second cure time on my station ready for use if my clients present challenges or if I'm trying a new style as well. So I always have to have both of those because what ends up happening is if I'm having a little bit of a slower day, or in the morning when I start off and I'm like, my hands are rusty and it's almost like the coffee needs to penetrate through my fingers a little bit, I find that I have to work with a slower cure time glue. And if I don't, then I'm gonna be placing the extensions, and when I brush, they're gonna be popping off, or they're gonna be slightly cured and my retention will lack a little bit. So it really comes down to understanding the products that you're using. As a newer artist, across the board, we always suggest working with a 2 to 4 second cure time adhesive. And then when you're ready to move down from there into a faster cure time, then we always suggest moving down by 0.5 to 1 second only at a time. Never jump from 2 to 3 to 0.5. That would be a nightmare. Lashes would be popping off. You really need to gradually transition. So you need to understand the products you're using, because you don't want the lashes to fully cure or partially cure before you make a solid connection. That's gonna help with retention hugely. And lastly, post-service. I am obsessed with Super Bonder product. It's a sealant that you put on the lashes post-service. So as soon as your lash set's done, just wait a minute, give a nice little fan to make sure the glue has cured a bit, give it a few minutes, and then put your Super Bonder product along the base of your lashes where the glue sits in connection with the natural lash. Its purpose is to seal the lashes so that, of course, the glue has fully completed its curing process, so it's not gonna polymerize and pop off later. It also ensures that your fans stay open. How many times have we had fans that we've put on, and when the client leaves, they're nice and fluffy, but then when they come in for a fill, you're removing fans that are completely closed up. By using Super Bonder, the fans are gonna stay open. Everything's gonna cure, feel sealed, feel nice for the client. It's gonna lessen the likelihood of irritation. It allows the client to get their lashes wet right after the service, and it also makes the glue oil resistant. So all of those things really truly help with retention. Another thing that we didn't touch on retention-wise is some clients, they work in environments that are high sweat, for example. If you're working in a kitchen, you're a yoga instructor, you're doing hot yoga, you're doing, I don't know, avid working out, doesn't matter what it is. There's some clients who just sweat a lot, or they're introduced to so many heats and polymerization is happening and their retention just isn't quite there. For those clients, I upsell Super Bonders. So I give them a Super Bonder, they purchase it, I upsell it 100%, so I mark it up, and then they can actually use that as a home treatment. So what they're gonna do is every single day just put a thin line of Super Bonder across the base of their extensions, only once in the morning, no need to do it any more than that. And that just reseals that bond every day, so they are more resilient if the client's lifestyle isn't conducive with good retention. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I would love to hear your comments or any of your tips and tricks on how you get the best retention in the comments below. But for now, let's check out this set that I'm doing today. Can't wait to hear what you think.